Perfect. Welcome, welcome. I know that we had a little bit of an issue getting into this Zoom meeting today. Not sure exactly what happened there. This is our third meeting that we've presented so far, but for whatever reason, maybe there was a flood of people trying to get onto Zoom, but we were just barely able to get on. But with that, want to let you know a few housekeeping items. As you join on, please mute yourself. We will try to keep everyone muted, but if you find yourself unmuted, please mute yourself during the meeting. We are going to give the meeting through the presentation through to its entirety. And at the end, we will leave some time and space for a question and answer. The other thing is we ask that you stick around after that question and answer. We've had a couple changes to our broker page on our website as well as our broker portal. And Cheryl's going to kind of give you a walkthrough on that. So we encourage you to stick around. But with that, I'd like to turn the time over. We're very lucky to have our CEO with us. Ask that you, perk up, listen up. We're pretty excited about the things he's going to share. Richard, take it away.
Well, thank you, Canute. I don't know how excited you should be about my presentation. It's going to be very brief. I appreciate everybody being part of this today. This is a great year. We're going into our 8th year in 2021 offering coverage. Mountain Health Co-op has, if you didn't read the article in Fortune magazine a couple of weeks ago, you can Google it, but we've just had a terrific history. We're doing well financially. We've got good membership, good relationships with providers, and some really nice things coming down the pike. Just a little bit about the company. I don't want to go on and on, but as the name implies, Mountain Health Co-op, we are a co-op. We're owned by our members. The members elect the board of directors. The directors are themselves members. It's a very diverse and interesting group of folks in our board, but they keep us accountable, and it's very different. I've been in this business 40 years, and it's very different working for a company where your investors are your bosses out of Wall Street, and it's all about the quarterly returns. I've been there before many years ago. And this is just a very different environment. It's about the member. I would also say, many of you know Canute. Canute has a rich history as an agent in Idaho. My background, I know some of you, I recognize a couple of the faces here on the screen, but many of you we don't know. And I would just tell you, my background is I've spent about half my career as an agent working out in the field and about half working for carriers. And it just gives you a different perspective, I'll tell you that. I think a lot of companies, in my experience, don't have that connection point with their agents, and it's something that we're striving to keep up with. So we recognize the job that you have. It's not easy, and you're out on the front lines, and our job is to support you, not to go around you or make life difficult for you. So I do want to mention just a couple of things you're going to hear about today. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I'm way excited about them. One is something that's been done in the self-funded world for years by very large firms. Pitney Bowes actually was a real innovator here about 15 years ago. It'd go under the title of value-based insurance design. And the idea is you get people benefits that keep them out of the hospital, keep them out of care. And a lot of folks, a lot of actuaries and other people were like, that's not going to work. You're just going to spend money and there won't be the savings. And it's now been proven there really are savings. And so what you're going to hear about is things like insulins, asthma medications, hundreds of medications, COPD medication, things that are going to be keeping people away from the healthcare system, keeping them well, are going to be available in 2021 on a zero cost to the consumer basis. So I'll just leave it at that, but it's something you haven't seen. This is innovative. It's not being done. It could not have been done a year ago. There are federal regulations that had to be issued to allow it, and they have been issued. And we may, I don't know that we'll be the first ones or the only ones offering it, because I can't speak for other carriers. I hope we don't stay the only ones. I hope this is a trend in the future, because it's what we ought to be about as an industry, is keeping people well, not just, waiting till the car slides off to the side of the road and the smoke's coming out and you realize, oh darn, I didn't check the oil for the last 3 months, which is what sometimes happens with my kids' cars. So you want to provide that maintenance benefit and make sure you're keeping people well. And that's what this is all about. We also have some other things, again, regarding dental coverage that has, I'm not sure anybody's doing this in the market. Very exciting stuff. Vision, which we already have, but is a real, I think, game changer. We tend to think in this industry that healthcare stops at the neck, and so it's like, oh, that's medical insurance. It's not dental. It's not eye. No, you got one body. And let me tell you, a lot of diabetics, their first chance of being diagnosed is that they're in the eye doctor's office, and the eye doctor's seeing in the back of their eye that the blood vessels are showing signs of wear, send them to the doctor's office. So your whole body is integrated, and we think it's important people get these dental checkups, vision checkups, not just as a gimme, not just as a gimmick, but as something that's going to take care of their overall health. I don't want to go on and on. Thank you again for joining. Appreciate the partnership we have with you. If you have not done a lot of business with us in the past, please try us out. If you have, hold us accountable. If you can, drop us a note, tell us what we can do to improve. Thanks, and have a great rest of your meeting. Canute, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Richard. We're glad to have you at the helm here. Thanks again for all the things you do for us. All righty. Once again, for those of you that might have just joined us, we ask that you mute yourself. We are going to leave time at the end for a question and answer set. In addition to that, at the very end, we encourage you to hang on and hang out. We're going to do a walkthrough of our broker page on our website and all the things and tools that are there available to you. We're also going to log into our broker portal. There's been a recent new look and a couple changes there, and we want to walk you through that so you know how to use that tool. Those are two tools for our company that we think are things you should know very well and be able to use very well. So we encourage you to stick around after the question and answer series to be able to watch that walkthrough. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Next slide, please. All righty. I'm sure by now, due to COVID, everyone's a Zoom expert, but if you're not and you want to be able to see both the presenter and the presentation side by side, we'll give you a minute to follow this pro tip. I'm sure a lot of you know this well and probably knew it before I did, but for those of you that don't, take a minute, if you'd like to at least, take a minute, follow these instructions, and you'll be able to see both the presentation and whoever is presenting at that time. We do have a few guests to join us in this presentation, and we're excited to have them with us. Once again, we're really excited about the things that we have to offer, some of the things that Richard kind of gave you like a little taste about. With that, let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Let's begin. And one more time, let's go right on into the next one. Okay, so here at Mountain Health Co-op, we've got you covered. I love working for the co-op. We are a nonprofit. One of the great things about being a nonprofit is our profits go back into the company. There's everyone that works for the nonprofit makes a modest wage, but there's no one that's just making gobs and gobs of money at the top and buying new houses every year because of it. With us, the excess goes back into the products, and we're excited to show some of the things that we're doing with that excess to make our product richer. But we are now, we got you covered in the individual market, employer plans, small, medium, and large group plans. And for many of you, you already know that we've expanded into Medicare, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's move on to the next slide. But we're here, we've got you covered. Okay, we believe in quality over quantity. There's strength in being locally owned. And as I mentioned, I love that we're a co-op. I love that we're a nonprofit, and I love that we are member-centric. As Richard mentioned, members make up our board. That board helps us to capture our future and drive us to where we should be going. Once again, we say, come as you are, whoever you are. We're Mountain Health Co-op. We belong to you, and you belong here. Another one of our taglines that I really love is people before profits. Many of you know a lot of these people on the sales team, but let's go through it real quick. We've expanded greatly. I started a little over a year ago. Prior to me starting, there were two people originally, one in Idaho and one in Montana. We've expanded, and we're really trying to be able to support all of you agents, as Richard mentioned. The director of our sales department, our sales team, is Jeff Swingley. He also was over the sales in Montana. He comes with a rich history in working for Blue Cross in Montana. He was originally commissioned to help us expand into the Medicare world and has a wealth of knowledge, and we love having him as our leader as well. Lori Hedberg, for many of you have already worked with her. Her specialty is large group. She's also a wealth of knowledge in small group as well as our broker portal. So she quite often helps in a lot of different areas. Cheryl Charbonneau, she's also another account manager. She has a wealth of knowledge in the Medicare world. That's one of the areas that she is helping out with specifically, but she also helps in, especially a lot of the agents here in Idaho have worked with her, getting recontracted and then dealing with issues. She's a great wealth of knowledge, and we're lucky to have her. We've also recently added Carly Simak as a marketing service rep. She monitors our agent info inbox. Also, if you recall our 1-800 line and hit agent, she would be the one that answers the phone. But she helps us all in a lot of different ways, and we're glad to have her. A lot of you on this meeting know me for years. I was in part of Insurers of Idaho. I was also part of eBroker Software and talked to a lot of you in different ways. Been involved with NAHU for many years, and the Treasure Valley Association of Health Underwriters, as well as the Idaho Association of Health Underwriters, and glad to be able to help you guys out any way I can. We are also expanding into Wyoming, and we have, well, a little bit later, you'll have a chance to hear from Rich Wessenberg. He's a sales exec and also has a rich history at Blue Cross. Next slide. The first thing that a lot of people asked me when I first started considering coming to the co-op was, well, it's a co-op, and there used to be a bunch of them, and now there's only a few. Are you sure this is a good idea? First and foremost, we are financially solid. As an indicator of that, we have gone from one state, Montana. We expanded into Idaho. We were now expanding into Wyoming. We've added additional emphasis. Early on, while we were involved in the group sector, we weren't really pushing it very much, and we've expanded that and have grown that sector of our business tremendously. We've also added an over 65 product, but we are solid. Just so you know, we have strong RBC levels. 400% is what is required. We are running, we have typically run north of 500, and through August of 2020, we're at 530%. For those of you who don't know what RBC stands for, that's your risk-based capital. That's the amount that you have on hand in case all of your claims come through at once. So we are running well above what is required and have been for quite some time. Additionally, our net income and profitability is in excess of $14 million. That's through August of 2020. Once again, we are member-owned. Our profits are invested back into the company, and you'll see several ways that has been true, not only last year, but we are expanding that into this year. Next slide, please. Okay, for those of you that are just joining us to take a peek, maybe you looked at us a long time ago and you were involved with us. We're frustrated about a few things. We used to have a TPA that had a much bigger name, but didn't have the best customer service. So a few years ago, we switched that to the University of Utah, and we couldn't be happier. They have done an excellent job. They deal with us, or they help process our claims. They run our customer service calls, and then they are also a center of excellence for us. And we send a lot of specialty care to them, and they do a fabulous job. And we're happy to be involved with them. And if you haven't looked at us in several years, know that ever since we've switched to the University of Utah, things have gone much smoother. Next slide. Okay, here's a couple of updates that we'll talk a little bit more about. As I mentioned, we are now in 3 states, starting at least in January 1, we'll officially open for business. In Wyoming, we're technically there. We're spreading the word, but the products won't begin until January 1st, and I don't want to steal too much of Rich's thunder, but Doing that, when we started off in Montana, we were known as Montana Health Co-op. When we expanded into Idaho, we were known in Idaho as Mountain Health Co-op. And now that we are expanding into a third state, we've made the decision to go by our DBA in all 3 states. So going forward, we'll be known as Mountain Health Co-op in all of the 3 states. We are still incorporated under Montana Health Co-op, but we'll be known as our DBA Mountain Health Co-op in all states. We have focused on diversifying and growing group business with much success, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, about how our group sector has grown. We've also, as I mentioned earlier, entered into the senior markets, and we actually, ironically, we've had a lot of our members that were aging out of our off of our products and loved us so much that they wanted a place to go. So that was actually one of the reasons we moved on, is we wanted to continue to be able to serve the members that love being part of our co-op. And lastly, we continue to provide further benefits to our members for a more health coverage experience. We'll talk more about some of those things in a minute. Okay, let's talk about our membership. We're running just shy of 30,000 between the 2 states. Montana was our flagship state. We started off there. They've got about just a little over 20,000 there, and in Idaho we're running just below 10,000. So we're about 30,000 between the 2. Next slide. Let's talk a little bit more about who our membership is. 92% of our business has been individual, and only 8% currently is group business. That doesn't sound like much, but early on, we were not really focused in the group business, as I mentioned before. While we had group products, we weren't really priced competitively, and kind of figured if people fill in our laps, we would, for the right price, we would help them. We have since changed that format over the last few years, and over the last 2 years specifically, have dropped our rates significantly and improved our offerings significantly, and have grown the business. So while we're at 8% right now, the beginning of the year we were at 2%. So we've grown 6% this year. And while that is happening, we also have a lot of quoting activity going on in Q4, and expect that to increase. The average age of our members is 40, and that's pretty much evenly split between male and female. And 28% of our members are getting a CSR, a cost share reduction plan, and that includes the Native American plans. Next slide. Okay, this is how our membership falls out in terms of metallic level. One thing to note, that this does not include large group business. This is small group, this is individual. And one of the things that we like to point out, I pointed it out last year, we're pointing it out again this year, the percent of people that have no broker of record. That percentage at the bottom are people that come to us on their own directly. You'll see that in Idaho, we've really made a big push to keep agents involved. As we get leads, we turn those back over to agents, and at the end we'll talk a little about how you can be a part of that if you're not already. But we like to keep agents involved, and you'll see how some of these things that we're talking about today that are benefits, they don't really show up when you look at it YHI. Everything doesn't fit in a small little box. So if you're just shopping rates, you're really missing the boat with our offerings, especially if you're just a dollar or two away from maybe going from bronze up to gold, or bronze to silver, or maybe when you're looking at us, especially if you're looking at us and a competitor in some age segments, while we are very competitive, we might be a dollar or two more. But later we'll show you some of the reasons why you should still consider encouraging your clients to pay that extra dollar or two to get the additional benefits. With that, next slide. Okay, we're going to talk about rates. And when we're talking about rates, we're just talking about the averages. We've had, next slide, please. All righty. We have our actual, before we move into that, I'm sure most of you know what our rating areas are in Idaho, but just real quick, historically, you've been used to having area number 1 known as engage, areas number 2, 6, and 5 known as access, and areas 3 and 4 known as, that's our St. Luke's product or a link product. We are going to be making changes to access and engage. They have morphed dramatically. So, but keep in mind, as we talk about our St. Al's network plan that we're excited to talk about, that's going to be available at least in this next year, 2021, in area 3. Link is still in 3 and 4, and that hasn't changed other than the additional benefits we're going to be talking about. But those are things to think about and keep an eye on as we talk about some of these changes. Next slide, please. Okay, many of you work in both states, Montana as well as Idaho, and we encourage you to get involved in Wyoming. We'll have Rich talk a little bit more about that in a minute. These are our average rates. Our actuarial firm just says, hey, here's what your average overall rates are. And so looking at the average rates on, the different levels, you'll see that in Montana, we have a lot of decreases on the individual side, few small increases. But once again, keep in mind that our actuarial firm, when they help us decide what our rates should be, they also take into consideration what they believe our customers are doing. So if everyone has taken an increase and we've taken a small increase, we're still trying to be competitive. Again, especially when you start weighing these additional benefits that we're going to be talking about throughout our presentation. Once again, that's the individual rates. Move on to the group rates, and you'll see, as we mentioned, we have made great strides in lowering our group rates. Again, this is Montana, small group rates. You'll see negatives across the board on the changes. We've done that both in Idaho and in Montana. In Q4 of this year, we did a large rate decrease once again, and we're excited to announce that Q1 of 2021, we are making yet another decrease. Next slide. We'll move on into Idaho. Again, this is Idaho individual rates. You'll see some ups, some downs, depending on the age and the metallic level. But once again, keep in mind, this is an average, and this is also taking into account what our actuarial firm believes is happening in the market in general. Next slide. This is going to be talking, once again, our access product has completely morphed. So while we've had access known in the past and used in the past, this is showing the rates that are going to be taking place in the new year with the new product, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And let's move on to the next slide. This is our Idaho small group rates. Once again, negatives all the way down. We've made another significant decrease starting in Q1 of 2021. For those of you that are working on groups in Q4 of this year, once again, we did take another significant decrease. If you haven't looked at us for a group in many years, again, the marching orders early on were individual. Group was there, but it wasn't a focus, and it was almost kind of like we were priced so far out of the market that if someone fell in our laps and was willing to go with us, you know, the average person was not beating down our door for our group rates, but they are today. So if you haven't looked at group lately, take a look at us again. We'll tell you a little bit later how to get in touch with any one of our team. I'm always available if you need any help putting together your small group rates or any of your group or individual. I'd be happy to, either myself or someone from the team will be happy to help you understand how to do that, and we'd love to have you take a look at us at least. Next slide. Okay, a couple of things about open enrollment of how we're marketing ourselves. We're relying heavily on social media. We have digital media. We also have postcards and billboards. For those of you in Idaho on the eastern side of the state, you might have seen some of our billboards. Those are going to rotate throughout the state, throughout the year, or at least through open enrollment. You might see some of our digital media. You might see some headers or footers show up on while you're Googling things or whatever your browser is. Following our election, we're going to start ramping up our radio ads. Last year, I heard of a lot of our radio ads that seem to follow the YHI radio ads, but we'll be on radio as well. Focus will also be placed on education for prescription benefits, including zero cost share on meds, on most insulin. We're lucky to have our director of pharmacy with us, pharmacy director, and he's going to be talking a little more about that in a minute. But we also have a dental and a vision exam reimbursement. We're going to talk about that. For most of you, you remember our vision benefit. We've added a dental, and we'll talk more about that. Next slide, please. Okay. When I was an agent, I like to have things, right by my side when someone would walk in and say, why should I go with X, Y, or Z? This would be one of those pages that I would print off if I were an agent today. These are some of the things that we think are fantastic benefits that don't always show up just in our rates. Again, as Richard mentioned, we don't believe that health just starts from the neck down. We believe that you should have a few checkups from the neck up. I'm going to talk about both our vision and dental exam that's available or reimbursement for that. We have a travel benefit that has been used, abundantly, and we love being able to help out with that. Once again, it is by does require prior authorization on all of our products, but in the right situation, we will also waive the deductible on that specialty care, as we quite often send people to the U of U for specialty care. We probably cover 100% of preventative checkups and screenings. Now, early on in 2020, we were super excited about having our doctor on demand and all of our levels, both in group and in an individual. That was not not such a big deal for some of our competitors and some of their products, but we had it for all of our products. Now with 2020 and the COVID coming along, everyone's pretty much been brought up to speed and is doing that. But with us being ahead of the curve, we were already using it and doing it. It was successful. We just had to, and we were ready for the big ramp up. The other thing I will tell you, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Additionally, the co-op has some amazing pharmacy programs that'll offer hundreds of drugs at zero cost ahead of the deductible. Next slide. And with that, I would like to turn the time over to our pharmacy director, Mark. Take it away, sir.
Thank you, Knut. Since we are in the conference room here in Helena, I want to make sure that you can hear me well enough, Knut, through our conference phone here. I can hear you just fine. Oh, wonderful.
Yep,
great, thanks.
Fine.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's not often that you have in agent training, as much time spent on pharmacy benefit management and the pharmacy program within an insurer. And hopefully in the next 3 or 4 or 5 slides, you'll understand why we want to put some emphasis on that. This will not be an advertisement for the big PBMs like CVS Caremark or Express Scripts or Optum or even Prime Therapeutics. We're going to talk to you about a PBM offering and design of our own creation with our TPA, and that PBM is called RealRx. Cheryl, please. So a lot of you probably already know what a PBM is, or a pharmacy benefit manager, and what their roles are for an insurer. But they do play some key roles for us, and these are basically the key roles that they do play. They provide a pharmacy network, and they contract with pharmacy networks for us, and not only in our 3 states and our local pharmacies, chain and independent. They also have to provide a national network of 50 to 65,000 pharmacies available all across the country for our members and your clients. They need to process that pharmacy transaction in real time, so that when a member shows up at the pharmacy, they can have all of their eligibility and benefits validated at the time of dispensing. They provide clinical programs, formulary management for us, utilization management. Probably the biggest example of that is, for example, the opioid use edits that we have in place now to limit and help our providers in their quest, of course, to provide good, sound opioid drug management. And then finally, they do provide our rebate and manufacturer contracting for us. Next slide, please. So why did the co-op change to a PBM of its own design rather than just going with one of the national larger firms? Well, it's a well-known fact that PBMs can control contracts with insurers, and then they can also play revenue games, and they can hide those revenues from us. And since we're a member-based co-op organization, we don't like revenue games. We want to plow all those profits back into our members, and ultimately, of course, that shows up in lower premiums. So some of the revenue games that a PBM can play are depicted here in this particular slide. I'm not going to talk about any of them. I'm just going to tell you that there are games that can be played, and so that was one of the prime reasons that we wanted, along with our third-party administrator, to develop our own solution. Next slide, please. So since we did identify the problem, it took us about 1.5 years to work through this process with our TPA. But alongside them, the University of Utah Health Plan, we collaborated to create our own PBM solution, and that PBM solution got its name, and it's called RealRx. So there were a couple of steps to form RealRx, and the first step was the joint venture team was formed by the TPA, and then we collaborated with that joint venture team to put the framework of the PBM together. The key thing for us as a co-op is that we got a board of directors seat on that RealRx board. So that allows us to be on the inside looking out rather than the outside looking in. So that's just a real critical component. The second step of the RealRx thing was to create a strategy of true transparency where nothing is hidden from us in our contracts with pharmacies or with our rebate aggregators or any of those kind of things. And the regulators that we have in all of our states, you've seen a lot more PBM legislation come in our respective states all around transparency. And so we believe that soundly, that we want to be transparent. And so that's part of the reason why we chose not to go with national PBM carriers and chose to kind of go our own way and develop our own options. Next slide, please. So there were some goals for RealRx. Obviously, we had some financial objectives. We truly wanted to eliminate those PBM games. We needed to align our contracts with our fiduciary responsibilities and then implement true transparency and pass-through, not only to please our regulators, but to make all of our pharmacy structures transparent. We had some operational goals. Some of you may have worked with large national PBMs and may have had good relationships and may have not, but we needed to improve that PBM service level. We needed to be able to control our benefit configuration and maintenance, increase those levels, as well as provide flexibility in our capabilities with our PBM, and I'm going to describe that in just a little bit about why that's really important. And then we needed clinical benefits too, focusing on lowest net cost and greatest clinical value, and then insight into all the rebates, contracts, all the pharmacy contracts, and all those kind of things. We just needed that level of transparency and clinical acumen. Next slide, please. So also the collaboration that we get from being our own, part of our own PBM, if you will. We provide expert guidance on our behalf to them, as well as we get that from RealRx. We get so much better engagement and support from RealRx than we had with the previous PBM relationships that we've had. We get much better value and a much precise administration, so we can create solutions specific to our needs and goals. Essentially, we get everything we want and nothing that we don't. Next slide, please. So the benefits of the new PBM to RealRx to us as a co-op, and certainly to you as our clients, and then your clients as our members, your members will see some immediate member savings. You'll see local member support. Our service teams are local. We know the area. We know the pharmacies and our members. That enhanced integration that I talked about will certainly be critical to work hand in hand with our clinical teams and operations teams. And then the co-op certainly is always here to support you as agents as well as your clients with pharmacy-specific needs, any questions that you or they might have, and then we'll, of course, reporting for the large group clients as well. Next slide, please. And then finally, I'll end up with this particular slide. Over the course of the last year, the co-op has adopted, as Richard mentioned up front, a strategy, a philosophy, what's called value-based insurance design. And the graphic on the right there, if you look at that, that'll pretty much kind of explain what value-based insurance design is all about in very simple terms. I'm not going to try to explain that. But as part of that value-based insurance design, we were able to do some pretty nifty things on the pharmacy side and create what we call a value-based preventative drug list for 2021. You all probably have heard about or know about the ACA list of medications that are no cost share. And then for some of our large group high deductible HSA options, there's a preventive medication list. Well, this value-based preventive drug list goes way beyond that. There's many, many more drugs included in that. We feel it will be a differentiator for us in the marketplace, something that you will be able to use and explain that to your clients about what this list does. And it provides no cost share drugs before deductible. And that's the critical component, because as you know, especially in the exchange, sometimes we have large deductibles, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 deductibles. So somebody that's on a diabetic, for example, it's on $500, $600 worth of medications a month, really doesn't get any benefit till they meet that deductible. Well, we've kind of turned that around now. So we will have in this value-based preventive drug list medications that for all of our plans in all 3 states, and when I say all of the plans, that's for all of the exchange plans, on and off the exchange, individual, family, small group, as well as large group, as well as the large group that members that pick a traditional option. This drug list will apply to them. So it applies across the board to all of our business. So there's many drugs now that we've added to this list at no cost share before deductible for cardiovascular disease, for hypertension, cholesterol, congestive heart failure, on and on. Diabetes, including most of the insulins, will have representative insulin samples in the fast-acting, intermediate-acting, and long-acting areas. Include many of the oral diabetes medications. In the asthma COPD category, most of those drugs are inhalers, and those are branded drugs. We've got lots of branded drugs in those categories that are no cost share now, or will be in 2021. We also have drugs for depression and osteoporosis. So in summary, this particular benefit is, again, for all plans across the board for all 3 states, and we feel it'll be a significant value to our members and certainly your clients. So I'll end there.
Thank you, Mark Eichler. Appreciate your time. We're lucky to have you and appreciate you, your hard work in bringing that to market. We're super excited about it. Just so you know, a couple other housekeeping things that I should have mentioned earlier on. This presentation is being recorded. It will be on our website for you to view later. We will be following up with a few broker blasts and broker emails. And we're not going to get into the weeds with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. We're so excited. We have a lot of things to introduce. But we didn't want to bog you down by telling you exactly how every little itty-bitty piece of things, of some of these things work. So you will be getting more information via email. We will have that list available on our website, and we'll probably even send that out via email. But keep your eyes peeled for in your inbox. Make sure you're checking your spam box on a regular basis, because over the next little bit, we're going to be sending you out a little bit more detail on how these things work. And we'll tell you towards the end how to get in touch with us if you have further questions. All right, as we mentioned, we're super excited to announce that we are moving into Wyoming. And with that, I'd like to turn the time over to Rich Westenberg, our sales agent up in Wyoming. Rich, can you hear me?
Yes, Knut. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, it's very exciting to have Mountain Health Co-op decide to come into Wyoming. We've opened up an office in Cheyenne, and we have a Wyoming team. Dr. Marion Smith is our medical director for our plan. She hails out of Torrington, Wyoming. In the Cheyenne office, we have Morris McGaugh, who's the providers relations director for the state of Wyoming, and then myself, the sales director. So sales executive here in Wyoming. But we have an established office here. We're operating, talking to a lot of brokers. There's only really been one main competitor here, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming, that's captivated the market for decades. And so there's a lot of opportunity here. Our plans are going to be called High Plains. We're offering small group and individual plans. That's how we're going to roll out for effective dates January 1. That's another bullet down there. But basically what we'll be doing statewide. The Medicare supplement, we're going to come in the first quarter, not exactly on January 1. So look to do that in large group down the road, mid-year sometime. But we're looking at all lines of product being offered in Wyoming. So an excellent opportunity when you consider Wyoming. Again, we're looking here sometime in October to start quoting the rates for January 1 effective dates, again, for small group and individual policies. Our network will be First Choice Health Network to be used at this time. And also, just like you're used to there in Idaho, our members will be eligible for the travel benefits. So that's what we got going on in Wyoming. Very excited to be a part of the team and look for great things in Wyoming. Thank you, Canute.
Thank you, Rich. We're sure happy to have you. Thank you for being on our team. You know, we have a lot of our Idaho agents that work in both states, Idaho and Montana. And if you have any interest at all, please reach out to us if you haven't already, and get appointed with our Wyoming team. And as with Montana, if you start talking about groups or individuals up there, you'll be working with Rich directly one-on-one. I help you on Idaho. I know enough to get you in trouble up in Wyoming, but not enough to get you back out of trouble. That's where Rich comes in. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we've made a few changes to our programs. Before I talk about Access Care, I will start off with Link. Many of you are familiar with Link. That's in the Treasure Valley and Magic Valleys, and then kind of above from there. Those are areas 3 and 5. We don't expect any changes to that footprint, at least. We're going to do these additions that we're talking about that will be a part of Link. Link is our St. Luke's network, but we are proud to announce that we now have a St. Al's network program. It is currently only available in area number 3, which is the Treasure Valley and up north, above Treasure Valley. We will have maps that will be on our website and part of the emails that come out. But this is kind of a skinny, narrow network. It is St. Al's. There is no it's individual only, and there will not be any group for starters. But for now, it is a very competitively priced program. So if you have that client that's really looking for a competitively priced product, this would be it. It is associated with St. Al's. Some people are super excited about St. Al's and knowing that it's a very competitive product. Along with that, you would still have your your centers of excellence with the University of Utah available to you. Again, with this, as with all of our programs in all states, that would be always by referral only. You want to double check, make sure you get permission before you go. Don't start making those arrangements. Those that actually start making arrangements quite often find that we're going to pay for them, and we make those arrangements for you. So we are super excited about having a St. Al's network. Again, for starters, it is only available in Region 3, which is the Treasure Valley and up north from there. And it is for individual and no group. Next slide. So Engage, for those of you that have been familiar with Engage, that has been our Far North program up in Area 1. Well, that has morphed into a plan that is available in all areas of the entire state of Idaho. That is true for Individual, it's in all of the areas except for 3 and 5, which is once again, the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley. It is available in all of the state for group, but it is not an individual plan in the St. or the Link area, what is known as the Link area now. It'll be available for group, but not individual. So you're talking about what used to be Engage and Access has now morphed into Engage throughout the entire state for group, and once again for individual, areas 1, 3, 4, and 6. Anyone that has been on an Access plan, and we're going to crosswalk them over to the Engage plan, that'd be similar. And it is also available for that travel benefit that we've talked about. Next slide. Okay, we have a great team on our provider team, and they have been working hard. A couple of the highlights that we have added in the last year. So in Idaho Falls, we've added Idaho Falls Community Hospital. In Soda Springs, Caribou Memorial, which is a critical access hospital. Western Medical Associates, part of Kootenai Hospital, which includes the anesthesia group. Kindred Home Health, multiple locations across Idaho. Blackfoot Anesthesia in Blackfoot. Reliant Home Health, multiple locations across Idaho. One thing to point out, we have a great provider search. I would get used to looking search and looking that search up. But you might find that, let's say, sometimes an anesthesiologist doesn't come up as an individual, but they are tied to quite often to the hospital that they work with, and so they may still be in network under the hospital. And if you ever have a question, call our customer service line. The University of Utah will actually be able to drill down and help you out with that if you have questions. But we are pretty proud about we continue to beef up and have a robust set of providers for you in Idaho. Next slide. Okay, you've seen it, you've heard it, we've been singing about it. We're super excited. We have added a MedSup product. We are entering the Medicare world. It's easiest to start off in the MedSup. So that's where we're starting, and hope in the future to be able to expand that. But as of June 1st, we've expanded in with the MedSup. Next slide. Okay, a couple things about our MedSup, Medicare supplement. We are offering plans A, F, G, and N. We started selling those, as I mentioned, June 1st. We are super excited about our rates, and if you have looked at them, you'll know that they are very competitive. If you pull them up on the Department of Insurance in Idaho and just do search for Medicare supplement rates, you'll see us along with our competitors, and you'll see that our rates are very competitive in most age ranges. It is your lowest cost option. We are intending to keep that as long as we possibly can. Obviously, COVID changed things up a little bit. We're not sure how that's going to affect everyone going forward. But the idea was to keep that a very cost-effective plan, not only in year one, but going forth as long as we can, and that is the intention. No guarantees, of course, but the plan is to keep that a very cost-sensitive and cost-effective plan for your clients. Quite honestly, we had a lot of people that loved us and they were aging out and didn't want to leave us, didn't want to leave the co-op. So this is kind of a product of that. A couple things to note. We do have an e-application. While you can fill out a hard copy, that is available. The e-application is the best option for you. We do have competitive commissions, but our commission structure that you signed did not and does not include the bonus that we had on top of that. So a lot of people are like, well, your commission structure is just okay at best. But what is not in that commission is a bonus structure. We're adding $150 for each underwritten application and an additional $25 for each open enrollment. So when you put those together, it is a very, very competitive commission package, and we're excited to be able to offer that for you. All materials are available, and Cheryl later is going to kind of show you where you can find those on our broker page. And Wyoming products will tentatively be available starting the Q1 of 2021. Thank you. And next slide. Okay, Doctor on Demand. We've touched on a little bit. Because of COVID, all of our copays are currently zero. Depending on your plan, when COVID ends, there may be, we feel like we have a very cost-effective option for you. Again, currently it is zero. One of the great things I love about Doctor on Demand, and I tell agents all the time, while you have agents, or excuse me, your clients, our members out traveling throughout the United States, why take the time to look up what's in and out of network where they're at? You can pick up this 24/7 wherever you are. If you have an emergency, call them. They would kind of be your first resource and can help you figure out where to go from there. As you know, it'll help you with your urgent care things such as bladder infections and some of the common things. But one of the things that we're proud to be able to add, and still is kind of unique to a lot of our competitors, at least in 2020, was the behavioral health aspect of it. Now, on an urgent care, you'll have someone within less than 15 minutes available to you. On a behavioral health, first and foremost, want to let you know this is not a 911. If you or you know of someone, heaven forbid, that is suicidal or really needs some instant care or some care right away, 911 is your call. But if you need a little help, you need to talk to someone, reach out, use this Doctor on Demand, and they can schedule someone that can get back to you within 24 hours, and you can have a behavioral health visit just right there over your phone. They can also order scripts and labs for you and repeat provider services. And it is available that you can access that right from our website and download that app. Next slide. Okay, our travel benefit. This has been a great benefit. A lot of people are super excited about. It is used on a weekly basis almost, if not definitely on a monthly basis between the two states. As mentioned earlier, the University of Utah is our preferred center of excellence. So if in your area you have a specialty surgery that you might need, and there might not be anyone close, I can tell you here in Idaho, a lot of people already go to Salt Lake area or Utah. Some people go into Washington. We have a great relationship with the University of Utah, and on pre-approval basis, if there's an issue that you think you need to have a specialty service done, if you'll reach out to our customer service and let them know about it, they will coordinate this for you and make sure that it is available to you in your situation. If it does apply, we typically, those benefits are available to you ahead of your deductible. So if it's early on in the year and you have some specialty surgery and you haven't even touched your deductible yet, your deductible is put aside when we use this. We'll also help you, get there. We'll put you up in a hotel, give you a per diem. It's a fabulous benefit. Our members that have used it love it, and we're excited to be able to continue to offer that to you. Next slide. Okay, back by popular demand, our adult vision exams. For those of you that have used this and your members or your customers have used this, our members, we've just received rave reviews about it. This is not a vision health insurance plan. This is an incentive to get your members or your clients to go get their eyes checked. About 10 years ago or so, about a decade or a little more ago, there was a huge discovery that your dental health was an indicator of your overall health. Well, there's also similar things with your vision. They can catch things early on. So we are encouraging our members. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about population health and keeping our members healthy and trying to nip things in the bud. So we offer a $60 benefit. If they have vision insurance, this will pay on top of that. This does not coordinate with your vision benefits. So it's just simple. You get a vision exam, you submit your receipt along with the form, and we send you a reimbursement. You can mail that in, you can fax it in, you can email it, and all that information is available to you right on our website. but we think it is a great benefit. And keep in mind that is per member. So if your members are a family of 6, each person has that $60 available to them. We say up to, because if someone found this amazing Groupon or something like that, where they were only charged $50 for their vision benefit or for that vision exam, we can't reimburse you more than what you spend, but most people are paying more than $60, and that $60 is available for each member on the plan. Next slide. We are super excited. We're not horsing around anymore. We have added the similar plan for teeth cleaning. And it's simple. Once again, this is not a dental insurance. This can be used with or without a dental plan. It is a flat $100 reimbursement for each individual on the plan. It does not include x-rays, but it will cover cleanings, exams, and fluoride. Again, if that service costs less than $100 and you found some amazing Groupon and it only costs you $75, we would not be able to give you more than what you spend. But most people for those services, pay more than that as is. So once again, a flat $100 for each member. You're talking about a family of 6. That's $600. So when comparing us on Your Health Idaho, or just doing a rate sheet in us, these are things that will not show up in the rates. Know that each member has basically $160 if they take advantage of both programs, the teeth cleaning and the vision exam. That's $160 per member. Family of 6, that's a significant amount of money that comes back to them, regardless of what they're paying for on their monthly premiums. Next slide. Okay, a few reminders about us. Individual and small group plans and rates should be available to quote in October. So here in Idaho, if you're looking at quoting for Q4, those are loaded, they're in there. If you need any help with that, reach out to me or reach out to Agent Info Box. We'll talk about that here down at the bottom of the page. We want to help you with that, and we think we have some fantastic rates and a fantastic program to offer. We also do large group, and we'll help you with that as well. One of the things that a common question that we get is some of our competitors offer automatic renewals on your groups. We do not auto-renew each group. So you want to make sure you take the time to get in there, and I'd be happy to help you with that if you need any help. And again, at the end of this presentation, we're going to walk you into the broker portal where you would do these things, but we're here to help you. And another item that comes up on a regular basis, we value you as the agent. We appreciate what you do, and we want to make sure you get paid. An incentive to you and an incentive to our members out there is we pay the commissions to the agents when we've been paid ourselves. So if for some reason your member or a group has not paid or is being slow to pay, we will be slow to pay as well. So that's kind of a carrot for you to be on top with your members to make sure that they are making timely payments so that we can make those timely payments to you. But that's kind of a carrot to you. Again, we appreciate all that you do, and we want to be able to pay you. But as we get paid, we pay you. Another thing that comes up on a regular basis, our default manner of EOBs or explanation of benefits is electronic. We are a co-op. We are a nonprofit organization. We try to save money wherever we can. That does not mean that we will not send out paper EOBs, and we can, but it has to be set up by calling the U of U or our customer service line. They can set that up. Just know that if you do nothing, your members will be receiving an electronic EOB. If that doesn't work for your clients, have them call or call with them to our customer service line, and they would be glad to get you switched over to a paper EOB. We would ask you to use that sparingly or diligently with those that need it, but that's a way that we're able to save money and put it back into our benefits. Lastly, we do have 2 different great ways to get in touch with us. When I'm with one of you agents or with one of your clients, you have my full attention. I try not to answer my phone. I try not to answer my emails that come in, though they may be my phone may be going off left and right. But when I'm with someone, you have my full undivided attention. That being said, I'm always looking to help you any way I can. But because I am with agents on a regular basis, a great backup if I'm not available or you're not getting to me as quick as you'd hope, agentinfo@mhc.coop. Once again, that's agentinfo@mhc.coop. That is a great resource to you. That is an inbox. Again, Carly is kind of the main driver of that, but we have several different pair of eyes into that inbox. They can keep an eye on those, and you might be able to get some answers, especially as we gear up for open enrollment. You might get your questions answered a little bit quicker by going to that. But feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help you, and will as often as quickly as I can. But sometimes I just know that I might be helping another agent, and if it were you were that agent, you would want my full undivided attention, and I want to give it to you. You can also have help by calling our toll-free line. That's there at 855-447-2900. Again, 855-447-2900. Many of you already know that very well. Keep in mind, you just select option number 3. And again, that rings into several different people. It starts off with Carly. She'll probably be able to help you out. But either way, those are 2 ways. If you can't get in touch with me, know that you have other people available to you. We've built up our team to be able to get you the answers as quickly as we possibly can. Next slide. Okay, with small group new sales, keep in mind that on our plans, we will offer more than 1 plan if you'd like. We will offer up to a maximum of 3 plans. We've capped that off this year, 3 plans, but we will not give you any more plans than you have members. So if you only have 2 members, the maximum we would offer you is 2. Another nice thing about us that I'm still finding out that a lot of our competitors do not do, we will do management carve-outs. If that's something you need and want, we can do that. We will also, we do in certain scenarios, if the situation is right, we have a group of 1. There has to be more than 1 employee. Others can waive, but we do have some areas where a group of 1 is available, and we can help you with that and see if you qualify for that. The other thing that we added this year is we can offer both composite and age rates or age banded rates to our small groups. It's always been available to our large group, but if you think composite rates is something that will work better for your group, that is available. And if you need help with that, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. Or once again, the agent info or that toll-free number would be able to help you out if I'm not available. We do think our plans and rates are very competitive this year and have been over the last couple of years. Once again, if you looked at us a few years back and said, yeah, the co-op is great for individual, not so good for group, then you haven't been looking at us at the last couple of years. We have continued to drop our rates. We've continually enhanced our programs. All these additions that we've talked about are available for the small, as well as many of them the large groups, as well as individual. So these things are available. If you looked at us 5 years ago and haven't looked at us since, you're missing the boat. And we would love a chance for you to help us, or we would love a chance to help you with your clients and the small groups. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. If I'm not available, check out those other places that we mentioned. Any one of us on the team are happy to help you and want to help you be successful. Next slide. Okay, again, here's those resources available 24/7. We're going to go over it here at the end. Mountain Health Co-op, mountainhealth.coop is our website. Many of you are familiar with our old website, which still crosswalks into this new website. mhc.coop now points towards Mountain Health Co-op. That is what we're being known by in all 3 states. That is available to you 24/7, and there's a wealth of knowledge there. So again, stick around afterwards, and we'll walk you through some of those tools that are available to you. If you're not a member of our LinkedIn group, we encourage you to do so. We have a lot of great information and articles that we publish there. Join us on LinkedIn if you're in LinkedIn. We have an amazing podcast that we started last year called Covered, and we interview many different individuals. We've interviewed agents, we've interviewed therapists, we've interviewed a lot of different people that give you a lot of different ways to point out how we're a good fit for you, and some good positive tips and ideas there for good overall health. Again, I'm here to help you, but I'm one of several on our sales team. We've beefed up to really be able to help you. We want to help you. We want you to succeed. We want to help you as much as you need, and we love doing that and getting to know our agents. Once again, agent info at mhc.coop. mhc.coop, agent info. If you're not getting a response fast enough for me, we have several different pair of eyes in that group or in that inbox, and they'd be happy to help you out. Next slide. Okay, with that, we're going to turn it over and open it up and answer a few questions. Depending on your questions, if you really want something drilled down, we may say we're going to send you out and wait till you get the broker emails from us that you might talk about how the guts of some of these programs work. But we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Canute, there's one question. I've answered a couple on the chat line, but there's one question that's still out there, so I thought I'd just speak to it. The question was, do we have participation guidelines for small group? We can outline something in a future agent blast. What I would tell you though is we pretty much follow standard Affordable Care Act ACA guidelines. So we're looking for 2 or more eligible employees, to quote and sell a small group, so 2 to 50. The group can be a group of 1 if 1 waives for other coverage, but we have to start with 2 or more eligible employees, and that's our baseline. We do not concern ourselves with relationship of the employees, so I know some carriers are more particular about the relationship. We really look at eligibility, so we can put a few thoughts together in a future agent blast, though. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more questions that we need to answer? If not, we'll just jump right into our demonstration. Looks like we have one that just came through, but I'm only seeing part of that. Jeff, can you see that?
It only says, the one I'm looking at says on the dental. I'm not sure what that refers to. I will just reiterate that we will have the information available to our members and to you as agents to look on in terms of submitting the dental. We just, Canute just covered the basics, but it'll be on our website prior to 1/1, so you'll have that as a resource.
Okay, with that, we're going to turn the time over to Cheryl. Cheryl, take us through what's available to our agents right on our website.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. What you're looking at now is the primary page for the Mountain Health Co-op website. You would probably be interested in these following tabs. The first one we're going to look at is Find Your Plan. When you look at this drop-down box, you're going to see that you can look at plans for both individual and group and all the various plans available to them. If we go over to the Member tab, members would be able to find various forms, how to file claims. They can pay their bill from here and make changes such as add a dependent or delete a dependent. You can get pharmacy information, their telehealth assessment, and more information on the vision, but also the dental will be added to this at some point. There's additional information on that travel benefit that Canute has been talking about, Doctor on Demand, and then My Chart. My Chart's another good one that your members might be interested in, where they can go in and view their claims and see other additional information. This next tab, View Plan Documents. A lot of times, if you want to just go see what those documents looks like the summary of coverages or the explanation of benefits, there are the individual and the group plans we'll look at for both Idaho and Montana. Again, Wyoming will be added to all of these as that time comes up. The next tab is Find a Doctor. So again, at this time we have Idaho and Montana. Wyoming will be added. You can find your doctors, your facilities, do searches, whether by city or by specialty. So it's an easy find for you and your members. For providers, this is for our various providers that they would use this site. The one I think you're going to be the most interested in is our broker tab. So when you go here, I'm going to just go ahead and go into this. I'm not going to log in under this screen, but this is where you as a broker would log in when you go. So you're going to be able to scroll down. One, we're going to have the link here to be able to order sales information. That would also include ordering any Medicare supplement information. As we scroll down here, and we're going to look under Idaho primarily at this time, the first grouping is your individual and family applications for, at this time, all three of the programs, the link, the access, and engage, and this will get updated a little bit as we get further into getting all this information into the program. The next is going to be group applications. This also right here is going to be the census. You can download this census when you want to quote a group, whether it's small or large. You can have the employer or yourself complete this census, and then when you go in to actually quote a group, you can upload that census to make things go a little smoother and easier for you. So here we also have group and employee of the group applications for your use that you certainly can download and use or use electronically. On this next one, you'll see that there are some other documents here, such as agent of record. If you want to have your folks do an EFT or otherwise called ACH forms, and then actual applications, but these are not for the marketplace for your individuals. The next area of interest could be your Medicare supplement information. We do have all of those various forms that are required for supplements. So you'll note that we have annual and also monthly rates out there for your use. We have your agent guide. This will help give you some underwriting guidelines as to how what to look for, whether if you want to look up a specific plan as far as maybe it's a condition someone has, you can see whether it's going to be on that decline chart or not. We have our outlines of coverage, your health information authorization, reinstatement for any Medicare supplement if it's going to be applicable, replacement forms. This is going to be your paper application that you can download. Also, their electronic funds transfer form for those, because we do ask that they do automatic transfer out of their checking or savings account. This next one is your e-application. E-application is the suggested and recommended way to submit applications because it's electronic, it gets through to underwriting faster. This is your link. If you click on this, it's going to take you to that e-quoting link. The last item here is for training. If you wanted to review the training video on how to use the e-quoting application, this is where you would go to find it. So down below here, we're going to see that there's various ways that you can submit a paper application. You can actually mail it in, and there's the telephone number for them to where you can call to ask information and the email address for the vendor. Down below for e-application login assistance, so if you're having trouble getting into there is a telephone number for you to be able to call to ask for help on, well, why can't I get logged in? And there are their hours, and those hours are Central Time. You can leave a message, and they have said that they would give you a call back within an hour. And you can submit new applications if it's a hard copy or a wet signature that you've done. You would use this new business app email address that is listed right there. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my test site, which I can walk you through some of the screens on using your agent portal. And I'm just going to what I'm going to do is show you here, what's going to come up first is your dashboard. Then as we scroll down, so let's say you want to do a quote, you can actually start a quote from here, whether it be individual or group. But if you've already quoted a group that's there as a proposal, you would go into proposal, and I'm just going to go ahead and open this for a moment so that you can see what is out here. You can see that we've already been doing some testing. Then you could open up that proposal to follow it through to an application, and then on to completion here. Make sure, remember that you can use that census spreadsheet to make it easier on yourself when you want to load that information in there without having to hand type it all in. And I'm going to go back one screen. And if you have a proposal already into an application, you can click on this link, and then this is where you're going to be able to complete and enter all of the detailed information for your members, of all the employees, add their benefit plan that they have selected, and then it would be submitted. Once it's completely submitted and everything is showing up as completed, it's going to come over to us for approval. And we'll get that all completed for you so that we can get this plan in effect. When it comes to the enrollment, both your employer can enter enrollment information or the agent can, and we can help you if you like. One of the things we just want to stress, though, is that if the employer is in the enrollment application, or if you as the agent is entering it, you would have those paper applications, and you can keep those. MHC would only need those paper applications if we were going to enter that enrollment information for you. Otherwise, we do not need that paperwork. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Here you're going to be able to look up groups. So you can look up your groups that you yourself have already written, or if you want to look up your members. So there's various tools here that you can use to find all of your information at hand. You should then also from here be able to go into your commission screens when you click on billing, which I do not have under this test site that I use. So there's other things that we can just help to do here. So if I go all the way back up to the top, you can see here's where you're going to start to do a new quote. If you want to do an individual or if you want to do group, you would just click on that link and then find yourself as the agent to make sure that your name is there as the writing agent, and then start going down to fill in the particular information that you need. The one thing here I'll show you is that when you look on how, tell us whether you want it composite rated or if it's member level or whether it needs to go through underwriting, which would be our large groups. At this time, I think I've kind of showed you the bulk of it, except there's one other thing I think is important. If I go up to Tools and I click on Rate Sheet, let's say you, for an example, you have a group that's existing, but you want to see what the rate would be for a new hire. What you're going to do here is use the year that the group came on. So if it was a group that you wrote in January of 2020 and they would maybe just be coming on in October, you're going to say 2020 because that was the newest date for the group. You would then come here and say whether you want individual or group. In this case, I'm just going to choose. You would choose your state. Excuse me. And then enter the zip code of the group that you were looking for. And I'm just going to, Canute, can you give me a zip code that I can look up for you?
Sure.
Canute?
Let's go with 83713.
All right, thank you,
Right in the
Canute.
heart of Ada County, Boise.
Okay, and now I'm going to just say, show me the rates. Whoops. This would be the effective date of the group, not the effective date of the new member. So I'm just going to say 01, January 2020. And if you miss a link in here, it is going to stop you. It will not let you proceed unless everything is been entered that it's requiring. So show rates. And it is thinking. Well, let's try downloading. There we go. If you actually download it, it's going to come up with a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is probably handier than just showing the rates because it's going to come up with all of the plans that are available to groups. So you could decide what plans you might want to take out. You might want to only select the plan that's applicable to what you're looking at. Find the age of the person that you're looking for rates, and you can go across and find a rate that would be for that particular person. So that's one of the tools that I think is very helpful. With that being said, I think that's the primary things that I can show you today. If you have any questions on this, we're here to help you. You can call with questions. Maybe you're trying to quote a group, are trying to submit it for approval, Carly and I and Lori and of course our sales executives, you can give us a call at any time. We will walk you through that, and then we can also help you find where an error might be that you have. So with that, I'm going to give it back to Canute and let him finish it, and I'm wishing all of you a good day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cheryl, for doing that. That was awesome. Jeff, are you still with us?
No, Jeff has had to leave.
Okay. Do we have anyone that is looking? Is there any last in terms of questions? If not, we might have a few that have. Go ahead.
I'm going to see if I can get back to find those questions, but right now I'm not seeing anything that has come up.
Okay. If we do see that there's another question or two that has come in the last few minutes, we will respond to you via email. Again, we appreciate you being here with us. Keep in mind that this session was recorded. It will be available to you. More importantly, we know that we didn't get down to the guts of a lot of these things. We kind of did a high-level overview. We could have taken all day long to really drill down, but I don't think you guys would have wanted that. You wouldn't want to hear us that long. So keep your eyes peeled for communications coming to us or to you from us. Also, I would highly recommend you keep an eye on your junk or spam folder every now and then to make sure that anything that comes from our constant contact would, in fact, show up in your inbox. But with that, we sure appreciate you guys being here. We love our agents. Really appreciate all the yes.
We do have two more questions that I see have come in.
If you see
one question is,
take it away.
Okay. Yes, this session has been recorded. We will have it out on our website soon, and we'll let you know when that happens. So this session has been recorded. Another one is asking, would vision and dental apply to Medicare supplement products? The answer is at this time, no, they are not. The dental and vision will apply to our individual and our group plans. And with that, I think that is the last of the questions that I am seeing.
Thank you, Cheryl. Sure appreciate that. And thank you to all of our agents. We appreciate your hard work. Again, if you haven't looked at us lately, if you just kind of stumbled across us today or decided to give us another chance to look at us, we are an entirely different company today than we were when we first started. We are heavily focused on group, and we would love to help you with your group business. If you have any questions at all, reach out to myself at KKLE, V as in Victor, EN, at MHC.coop. Once again, that is KKLE, V as in Victor, EN, at MHC.coop, or the agent info at MHC.coop, or that 1-800 number. Again, when I'm in front of an agent, I want to give you my full and undivided attention. If you're having a hard time getting back to me, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's more than likely I'm trying to help another agent. And if you were the agent, you've got my full and undivided attention. So with that being said, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you. We know how hard you guys work, and we're here to help make your life easier. So with that, thanks for joining us, and have a great day.